Have you ever wondered what investing in a rental property in Boise, Idaho would look like? Well, it's a very personal topic to me because we invest ourselves here in the Treasure Valley. So let's take a deeper dive at what that looks like. And I'm going to be answering some of the most frequently asked questions that I get. I'll talk through my own personal experience and how it would affect you as an investor. So let's start with question number one. What's the number one thing you look for when investing in a rental property? Well, the easy answer is return on investment. Of course, you want the best deal possible, but you want the highest return. But those properties aren't always readily available. So there's other factors to look at. It might be location. Perhaps there's an area that is close to you if you're managing the property yourself, and it may be a little bit more expensive, but then the rent is going to be higher as well. Or maybe you don't want a property that's run down. You want something that's move-in ready for a tenant. Well, those are going to cost you a little bit more. So it's not always about the deal, but ultimately you have to make sure that you're working through the numbers, that whatever investment property you purchase, that the math pencils out in your favor. Question number two that I get, would you rather invest in a long-term rental or a short-term Airbnb in Boise? And why? Well, for me personally, we've always invested in long-term rentals because we manage the properties ourselves. We don't have the bandwidth to manage something that somebody may come in just for a couple of days or a week at a time. So we're intentionally looking for properties that have that long-term growth potential. But with Airbnbs, those are sort of a separate beast because there are property managers that handle Airbnb type properties. So they will make sure that the patron has access to the property. They'll make sure that the property is stocked with whatever it might need, paper goods. They'll make sure that it's clean, that the linens have been changed. So if you have the ability to stay on top of that, then an Airbnb may be a great option for you because they can turn a higher profit, especially in an area like Boise where you're in downtown or you're near Boise State University because people are coming in for short stays to visit children or to explore the area. So those can definitely turn a higher profit, but they just require a lot more hands-on effort. Question number three, what's your biggest concern when it comes to investing in real estate? Well, it's always that you're going to lose money on that investment, that you're going to spend too much for a property and not get the return on investment that you were looking for. So again, you don't want to go out and just purchase anything. You want to have a plan in place. You want to have run the numbers to, again, make sure that the math pencils out for you. Next question I get a lot is, if you could own a rental property anywhere in the Treasure Valley, where would that be? Well, you know, this is a tough one because Treasure Valley is strong for rental properties regardless of where you're at, because there are so many people moving into the Treasure Valley. They want to experience the valley. They want to see where they might want to be. They may think they want to be in Eagle, but really they end up liking Boise better. So they come in, they rent for a while to explore and to tour the valley to find what really resonates for them. I would say the area around Boise State is particularly strong when it comes to rentals, both for students, for faculty, for short-term rentals. They're harder to come by because it's such a desirable place to have a rental property. Then next, I would say Eagle. In Eagle, you have a high market for families wanting to come in and rent larger properties. They want to see if they really want to invest in Eagle real estate because it can be a little bit pricier. So they come in, they find a larger home to rent where it has a backyard. They get acclimated to living in Idaho. They have their kids in a Gold school district. So those would be my personal top two areas, but there are so many great options. Meridian has a fabulous rental market. Again, because of its proximity to everything that the Treasure Valley has to offer. People are coming in, they're experiencing the Treasure Valley for the first time. They can get to their job, whether it's in Boise or Meridian or Eagle. It's easy for them to navigate the city when they're in Meridian. So Meridian is definitely a hot market for rentals as well. Hi, if you're new to my channel, my name is Erica Toffel, Global Real Estate Advisor with Group 1 Sotheby's International Realty. I specialize in helping you find investment properties here in the Treasure Valley, whether that's in Boise, Eagle, Meridian. I'm here to help with any of your real estate needs. So send me a text, write me an email, give me a call. My information is on the screen. And please be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you get notified every time I drop a new video. And if you're watching on your television screen, you can scan the QR code to contact me directly. And for more daily content of what's going on in the Treasure Valley, especially when rentals come up, or if we have a rental that we have a rental that we're going to be renovating here pretty soon, so you can see how that process goes for us. But hop on over to Instagram and you can check everything out there at Erica Toffel Real Estate. Some other questions that I get. What do you think makes Boise such a great place for investment properties? Well, that's an easy answer. It's because so many people are coming here and they're not quite sure yet how they feel about moving to Idaho. They want to stay, or just the simple reason of not knowing where in the Treasure Valley they want to settle. Do they want to be in Meridian? Do they want to be in Boise? So being able to come up and rent for a while gives them that opportunity to explore the Treasure Valley and find what really speaks to them. So on the flip side of that, if they're coming in to rent, then somebody has to provide that rental for them. And so there's such a high demand for rentals. I get calls all the time, and I don't deal with rentals on a regular basis except if I'm helping investors, but I still get calls, people reaching out asking what rentals I know about. So it's always been a hot market here for investment properties. A more general question that I get when people are looking to invest in Boise is what I think of Boise real estate market. Do I think it's going to continue to grow, or are we headed for a slowdown? So since the pandemic, the Boise market has remained steady. It hasn't declined, which a lot of people expected it to do because we had such a huge increase during the pandemic where we had home prices that were increasing 50 to 100%. I mean, that was huge. So they were expecting there to be some sort of crash after the pandemic sort of settled down, and that just never happened. So we've been holding steady. Yes, it has softened a little bit, and the requirements, or the criteria rather, that people are looking for when it comes to properties or investment properties have changed since the pandemic. For example, during the pandemic, they were just hot to pick up any property. It didn't matter if it was updated. It didn't matter if it had weird neighbors to the side. They just wanted it. Anything was okay. And now that market has shifted. So if your home is updated, if your home is in a great location, and if it's priced right, then the market is strong. However, if you haven't updated your home and you're still wanting to ask for a premium, your home is probably going to sit longer. But there's still a steady demand, and for all the reports that are out there, everything keeps saying that the Boise market is going to continue to grow, albeit a little bit slower than it did during the pandemic. So this is a fun question that I get. They come in and they say, I have $500,000 to invest in a Boise property. What kind of rental should I buy? Well, if you aren't here locally and you're wanting to invest in the Treasure Valley, I absolutely suggest looking at long-term rentals versus an Airbnb unless you're having somebody here locally manage it. And the same goes actually even for a long-term rental. You'll still want to look at a property management company so that wherever you might be, you're not having to worry that the property isn't being supervised and managed on a regular basis. But if I had $500,000 to invest anywhere, I absolutely would look within that Boise State corridor. Now, you're a little bit limited on availability because more homes come up for resale as school approaches getting out during the summertime. So if you're looking in the winter, then you might not have too many options out there available, but it has such a strong market, and you always know that students are going to be looking for homes there to rent. So if I had $500,000, I'd definitely be looking there. Or I might look in an area close to Meridian that might be near the Village, which is our outdoor mall, something that is centrally located so that whoever is looking for the property knows that they can get anywhere in the valley fairly quickly. So what do you think? Would you invest in a property in Boise, Idaho? Why or why not? Tell me in the comments below. So when I think of the rental market, what would be the biggest challenge I would say there is to getting into investing in Boise, Idaho? And oftentimes it's that myth that you have to have 20 or 25% down, or you have to be able to you have to come in with cash even. And although you do have to have a larger down payment when it comes to investment properties, there are so many creative options to really get your foot in the door when it comes to buying investments. One option is, rather than going a traditional loan route, if you have enough equity in your primary home, is to use that equity to take out a HELOC, a home equity line of credit. And then you could use the funds from that in order to essentially pay cash for your investment property. There are so many ways to get your foot in the door when it comes to your very first investment that I absolutely say, if this is something that you're thinking about, reach out and let's talk through various scenarios in order to get you started on that path. So what's one piece of advice I would give to someone who was considering their first piece of rental property? And I would say, just do it. Absolutely have those conversations with your trusted real estate advisor. Have a conversation with a lender so that everybody is on the same team and you're working towards your same goal. Because once you get started, then that can create generational wealth. And in a perfect world, I would say have an investment property for every kid if you could, because that could essentially pay for their college tuition down the road. But it's definitely something that you have to plan for. So plan ahead, get people in your corner, from a real estate advisor to a lender, so that you know that you're making a plan that you can follow and that can grow your wealth and your security as you go. For more videos about real estate in the Treasure Valley, click on one of the other videos on the screen. Thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next one.